Hello, welcome to our channel and today's transmission with me, Omaji, and the Council of Light, who is also fully present for this energetic conversation. I'm grateful to be here today to link in with the current energetic weather, energetic climate, energetic potentials. And for those of you who maybe are new to my channel, I am an energy intuitive and I work in collaboration with the Council of Light in a higher realm. And then our conversations in a higher realm, working with your higher selves and your guides, reflect here. And anytime we convene together in this forum, it is an opportunity for an energetic conversation far beyond the mind. So while the intellect is helpful and it has its place in the oneness, and we can use it as a tool. We can use it to engage our imagination. We can use it to help us choose in a certain way, to be aware of certain things, but it's not all that we are. And so you are, just as a reminder, an energetic being, a vibrational being, first and foremost. You are light. And we can, meaning you and me in human form, can get lost in the journey in the physical dimension, thinking we are something else. And when we start to identify as limited, as not enough, as not having, as not free or not safe, or whatever the story is, then we start to experience ourselves as though that were true, as though we were separate from source, as though we were something other than exquisite infinite light that is connected to infinite source in a state of always having. And so that can be a bit frustrating for those of us, meaning those of us in human form, who are in the process of consistently awakening, being awake to who we are in truth. So we spend less time in forgetfulness, more time in awareness of I am a being of light. And as we lean more into that identity, which is the truth of what we are, things can begin to bubble up, to be let go. Things that are not compatible with that truth of your being, that truth of you as light, may begin to lose their grip in the unconscious mind and start to literally surface in order to be seen and gone beyond. And until we reach a certain level of consciousness, this can be very confusing because we think that all we should have to do is just remember that we're light and everything should shift on a dime. And in some respects, it does. Your energy fields, your consciousness starts to rearrange itself. Certain aspects of you begin to activate and step forward that are aligned with this truth of you. And simultaneously, as that occurs, aspects of the old version of you, I'm being shown the image of the snake shedding its skin, can begin to surface for you to choose again around who you are. Who are you really? What do you choose to align and agree with in this moment? And then 5 hours from now or 5 days from now, if something bubbles up and it seems to contradict what you know to be true about you, will you allow it to be seen, maybe even thank it for showing itself, and say, I choose to identify as the light that I am, as the truth of what I am. I choose to align with divine truth, the truth that I am an abundant, connected, safe, supported being in every moment, supported by life itself, because oneness is. And so you affirming and consistently choosing in favor of what's true versus what maybe has been the facade or the illusion or the belief in less than, the belief in lack running in your fields, agreed to on some level unconsciously, and therefore it projects into your reality, reflects into your reality as though it were who you are. And in every moment, really, we have the opportunity to choose in favor of what is true. So we're going to hold space for you to anchor this in your own unique way. We're encouraging each of you to bring it in your own unique way. What would it feel like for you as a being to commit in a greater way to knowing yourself as light, to affirming the truth of you as light, regardless of what shows up in your awareness, regardless of what shows up in the physical, mental, emotional body? What if we could allow whatever arises to exist, to express, not judge it, just hold an awareness, observer mode of whatever arises, and choose to align and agree with what we really are, what you really are. And what does that feel like for you to begin to employ that tool, again, in your own unique way on a consistent basis? And we're going to invite your higher selves to come in and to help support you in crafting your way that works for you, that's sustainable, a way that you can easily practice aligning with who you are, regardless of what arises in the outer, in the reflection, in the world, in mass consciousness. You get to choose what you agree and align with, regardless of what anyone else is doing. That is the power and the potency of your free will conscious choice, and it is not to be overlooked. It is everything. You choosing for you is the key. So anywhere you have given something outside of you responsibility to awaken you, or to choose for you, or to bestow upon you a certain ability to remember to choose, or to side with the truth of you and let go of the lies and the limitations that have been agreed to in the past, maybe even unconsciously. Will you retrieve all that power back off of everyone and everything you ever gave responsibility to give you permission to have you, to choose for you to have you, to remind you of who you are, to awaken you to who you are, to evolve you in a certain way, or to employ a certain mechanism to awaken you, to align you with you? Will you hold the responsibility to craft and employ the appropriate mechanism that functions from your current level of consciousness, where you're consciously aware, you're an awake and aware being, that you are a being of light, and you're consciously choosing in favor of that agreement? I choose to align with the truth of who I am. And whatever's arising that may contradict that truth or try to tempt you to agree with something else, it's not about going into resistance to it or judging it or trying to get rid of that thought or that belief. Can you love it and embrace it back into the infinite you? And just know you are the infinite you that can love and embrace it. And maybe even giggle a little bit that I can't believe I ever thought that about me. I can't believe some part of me would ever think I was less than this magnificent, dynamic, infinite light that I actually am. I'm so grateful that I'm remembering every single day more, 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 the light that I am. And I choose in favor of it now. I choose in favor of myself as light. I identify as myself as light that emanates directly from source. I am an etheric being riding on the front of the body's spine. I'm not the body. And then you start to orient. And so that's one example of how you can choose yourself into alignment. Direct your energetic fields into alignment. And you can take the hand of, we recommend taking the hand of your higher self for that process, to align you with you, to choose in favor of who you really are in truth, to choose to agree with the absolute of you, the infinite you, the abundant you, the liberated you. Because in every moment you have a choice. And it's not about trying to change what's showing up in the reflection or in the outer world or how others perceive us or how others show up. Be the change you wish to see. You get to have you. When you have you, everything else aligns to meet you there. Life begins to show up and reflect back to you that state of connection, that state of empowerment, that state of liberation. And everything you deeply desire lives there in your own divine nectar of light that is you. On this day, will you choose to commit to having you in a greater way, to embracing you and remembering you in a greater way? And we extend the invitation for you to generate your mechanism for choosing to align with you consciously every single day. And maybe you use this replay, this recording as a tool. Maybe you use this as inspiration to craft your mechanism. Sometimes it can be a bit of a tall order to say, I'm going to listen to this every single day. Maybe you do, or maybe you listen to it once a week or twice a week, and you have a sentence or two that you use for yourself, or even imagining an image or a symbol that puts you in that state of commitment to your own light, being true to your own light, choosing in favor of you as light. Maybe it's, I choose in favor of me as light. I choose to remember I am a being of light. I am agreeing and aligning with myself as infinite source light, connected to infinite source. So we give examples so you can start to play in what resonates for you as you reorient, which is no small feat, how you perceive you consistently, no matter what arises. And we're going to be doing a lengthened transmission that will probably have some version of this as an inspiration. It may or may not. It's a little over a week from now, I believe, for the summer solstice. And it might be the winter solstice, depending on where you are in the world for you. But it is a launch point, another launch point. At the end of a great grand cycle, there are many, many, many endings, new beginnings, endings, new beginnings. And so we're in kind of a cycle right now of a completion with this full moon next week. And that is preparing us for the new launch, new beginning, that's the energetic weather, if that interests you, the launch point for the summer solstice on June 20th. maybe June 21st if you're a different part of the world. But lean into for you if you'd like to join us for that. You can find it on your website, on our website. It's all of our websites at embracingtheinfinite.com. And it's on a sliding scale. That way you can feel into your level of receptivity and what feels appropriate for you as a being. A lot of times when we may not be conscious we're doing this, but when we contribute for something, we open to receive based on that energetic exchange. So everybody's different. Everyone is at a different space and place in their consciousness, in their life, and current circumstances. We recognize that. And so it may change for you one week to the next. But if you do enroll in any of our offerings that are on a sliding scale, we encourage you to feel into what level allows you to have the optimal receptivity for you. And really only you know that for you. They want me to share this story, so I'll just share this story. When I first started doing this work publicly and would do group sessions live physically, before Zoom existed, I used to do for a love offering, and we'd pass the basket at the end of the session. And what I found is that, well, the guides came forward and they said, do it before, have them contribute prior to the session. And I was like, wow, that seems weird. And all the spiritual teachings were in the books, and the experts in the bookstore that I was doing the event at all wanted to do it the other way, pass it after. Usually people are more generous after because they feel into what they just happened. Da, da, da. I'm like, I know, but that's not what I'm being shown. So I'm going to honor what I'm being shown. And as an energy intuitive, what I noticed very quickly was that when someone contributed prior to, even if it was what, for whatever amount they contributed, what I felt during the session, as I was doing the group session, was that it increased their level of receptivity because they'd already contributed. So when we contribute an energetic exchange, we then open to receive, and I get shown it like an infinity symbol in a balanced way. So according to our contribution, now we're open and receptive to receive the equivalent energetic exchange. And so that's what we're really meaning by contributing to your comfort level, but also what feels optimal. Because it does flavor the giving and receiving dynamic, because the way that we share is from a place of oneness, from balance, we're not going to overgive, because that might actually be, it might be too much for someone. And so recognize that when each of you show up for a group session, you're opening to receive what you can. And then when you go back and re-listen to the recording, then you might receive different layers or more, or in a different way. And so it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving, our sessions, because they're multidimensionally layered and they're shared in a way that your higher self is the gatekeeper of what you're going to receive for you. And you're in your free will conscious choice to receive only that which you need, only that which honors you. And it's done from this space and this intention of being in balance, so that there isn't any karmic debt accumulation. It's balanced. And so play with this idea that as you contribute for something, anything, not just our sessions, open yourself to receive and be in gratitude for what you're actually choosing to receive in that energetic exchange. We could do a whole masterclass on that. So I'm asking the guys if there's anything else on that they want to share. And they're saying no, not right now. So feel free to ask any questions around that. If you want us to clarify, we can expand on that. I'm just asking now if there's any other pieces they're just stepping forward again to encourage you to remember in a greater way the power of your choice. And that in every moment, we as humans are either choosing to remember who we are or we're not. And not choosing is a choice. So, what is a way that you could support yourself in being more aware and more conscious around deliberately choosing every single day to remember yourself as light, to align with the truth of you? And maybe you birth something collaborating with guides and advisors in dream time, and in a day or two, you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm going to do it this way. Trust that. Trust your way. Your way is perfect for you. And feel free to share what comes to you in the chat below, in the comments below. And we'll also put a link to join us in the description of not only if you want to receive our newsletter and get some free transmissions, there'll be a link for that, but then there'll also be a link for joining us for the summer solstice transmission, if that's resonating for you. And as we navigate these waves of change, end of great grand cycle, beginning of next great grand cycle, we just encourage you to make your magic wand, which is exactly that, it's a magic wand, to remember what you are. Because that will flavor everything. Much love.